Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Draw Straws podcast. My name is Nelson, joined by my co-host Logan, and it is currently Friday at 7:05 p.m. on our time. And I just got off of work. I am exhausted. I am tired. And I just mentioned to you about that kid just deciding to pop a wheelie next to my truck and taunt me and everything beforehand and just smacking my window in the side of my truck. And that's just, yeah. Anywho, but
Yeah.
how have you been, Logan? How have you been?
Good. Worked a nice long day at work today. Volunteered about an hour, and yeah, digging sprinkler trenches and laying sprinkler pipes and doing. It's like sprinkler work is not that hard. It's not that difficult. Uh, Especially when you're doing like just basic stuff, but you go from digging a trench, which is like mindless activity, to okay, now I have to design the system and figure out how the pieces are all going to fit together because like if you make a mistake, you just you don't have the extra you have to go buy extra materials or whatever. So it's like a pain.
And then you
Um
end up hating yourself afterwards.
yeah, they always say you always make one more trip than you want to the hardware store when you're on working on a project. Well, that same thing applies to sprinkler work and yeah, we really didn't want to do that, so we spent a long time thinking today. The older
Did
gentleman
you
and
end up
I,
did you end up going to the hardware store?
we did not. We were good.
Wow.
Yeah. At the very so okay, so I put in all of the heads one way, and he was expecting me to put them in sideways. Um, and I don't really understand the logic. I still don't understand the logic to that. Like we had swing valves so you can raise and lower them. But the way we had them set up with the elbows and everything, it made more sense to me to put them vertical. Um, and so on the last one, like the second to last one, he's like, "Wait, did you put them all in that way?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, usually you put them in sideways." And it still doesn't make sense to me because I don't think it would have worked out right. But um, he's like, "It's fine. It should work." So, but he was there for the whole project, and then on the second to last one, he's like, "Wait a minute, did you put them all in that way?" It's like scaring the crap out of me. I don't know if he was just doing that to scare me because he does joke around with me sometimes. But it's like on the second to last one, we'd have to like redo the whole system if we wanted to fix the like to fix that to change it to being sideways. So yeah, but it was fun, and it's always fun to dig. It doesn't hurt my back at all. Um, ow, but I could be doing much worse things. So yeah, that was most of today, and this week is I finished my classes, which I'm pretty happy about. Finished my winter session classes, aced them. Pretty happy about that. They were really easy, so not a big deal there. Starting back up with spring session in 4 days, so I get to look forward to that. Of course, Calculus 2.
That'll
It's gonna
be
be
fun for
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's gonna
That'll be
be,
fun.
and I don't have that good teacher. I don't know. I've never heard of this guy that I have. So we'll see. But
Yeah.
that's all. What about you?
Uh, I mean, I guess work was all right. There was just too much to do. I couldn't get everything done in one day, of course. That's the unfortunate part about, like, I guess you could say for my style, I suppose. The only gripe that I have, especially when it comes to the line of work that I have to do, because I remember describing it to you and everything, is when You have a coworker who you know is annoying. They've been fired multiple times and rehired, and they just don't know how to go away. It's like a pimple that always comes back in the exact same spot.
Uh, that's a
But
gross that's a gross analogy.
well, it's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head at the moment. But I leave for 2 days. I had work off on Tuesday and Wednesday, and on Monday I got everything in order. I was ready to do tags and everything to put it all away in the back of the shop. She decides to come by and do it herself,
Mm,
and I basically had no idea where the stuff was stored, of course. And on top of that, my coworkers kept bombarding me, asking me, "Do you know where this part is? Do you know where this part is? We just ordered it. How do you not know where it is?" And I said, "I haven't been here since Monday." So everything was out there. So whoever you had put it away, that's on them. And I don't take any responsibility for that.
yeah.
So it's on them for letting her do all that stuff, but I don't want to go into too much of a rant or anything. I mean, the only issue that I have at the moment is they need to set like a realistic boundary or expectation for what to expect out of a workday when it comes to someone like me. I only work part time as much as I would like to have my hours adjusted to where it would be in line with their hours, preferably 5 days a week from 8 to 4:30. That would be really nice, but I understand that they like me to close. That's totally fine. But uh they were just stacking so much stuff on top of me, and I get it, we were kind of prepping for the weekend because the nursery is supposed to have a like classroom or whatever for plants and everything, which is, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I got nothing against that or anything. I made sure that everything up in the front of the store was, jam packed with a lot of. I'm running out of breath,
Stock.
man. Goodness, it was in stock. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a bunch of blowers, weed eaters, all of that stuff. And the service kits finally came in, so I got those tagged and I got those up in the store as well. And it looks a lot better than what it did before, I will say. Having that wall filled up with a bunch of service kits and everything
Yeah.
for the weed eaters and
Do you
all
know,
sorts of
is
stuff.
it going to be like kids or something, like little kids, or is it going to be
It's gonna
older?
be it's gonna be older. It'll be more or less. It's probably gonna be a lot of seniors.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
So, um, but what I do know is that chances are we're probably gonna sell like a more or two tomorrow, and I'm all for that. So, I mean, if it means that I get to do, you know, if I get to go on to our loan company and not have to deal with any other customer because that's the number one priority, I'm all for it. I am totally fine with that. I would rather do that than anything else at work at the moment. So,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, I could show you a picture of what else I did at work today, I guess. The
Don't dox
container,
us.
no, no, these are indoor photos and everything. The containers were, I mean, you can't really see it. You can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. It's too bright on the screen. Actually, I wonder if dimming it would help, but no, it didn't help.
I
But
see some of it. Yeah.
you can
Interesting.
kind of see that's what most of them look like. It's just a complete mess,
Yeah.
and it's not organized or anything like that. Here is the final product. This is what
Oh, wow.
another one looked like afterwards.
That looks good.
So that
These
took
are
a
shipping
decent,
containers?
yeah, it took a decent chunk of my time, I will say, and it was not fun. I will say that.
Yeah.
I mean, it meant that I would rather do that than, customer service and having the shop guys bother me, but I'm just gonna leave it at that because I've already poured out my whole entire rants before in the past, and it would be the same old song and dance. So, but that's basically what happened today at work, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, just putting stuff up in the store. So,
Hmm. Have you been doing
yeah,
anything
I mean
outside
that's
work?
Not really. No, I've been just sitting in this room, dwindling, and I mean, you and I we talked about cars the other day, and
Yeah.
you guys thankfully talked me out of getting a Miata, so that's a good thing. I will say that. It's a very good thing. I appreciate that. So something practical.
It's painful.
Uh, it is. It is painful, I will say, but I understand the reasoning behind it. I sent you another car. I
Was
think it
that
was
the
earlier
Elantra?
this. Yeah, what'd you think about that?
Um,
Because that had pretty much everything that I wanted.
2024 Hyundai Elantra. Oh, I couldn't look at it because I need the Carfax app.
Oh, that's okay. It had 3,000 miles on it, heated seats. It's got all the special features that come with it for my needs. Okay, not a want, a need.
Is it about the
So
same price as a new one, or is it?
it
Do you
in
remember?
terms of MS, in terms of it's very close to the MSRP price. And that's my biggest thing that if I were to go out and get one today, if I had the money for it, I would haggle the car to death to get it at a lower price because that car has been sitting there since November. So it's been well over 90 days at this point. They can't sell it. So what's the deal?
Yeah.
I would purposely haggle it to because I already know when I if I do go to that dealer, even though that MSRP is at 21,000, it's actually above MSRP that car is listed at. The MSRP for that is I think like 21,650 something. That's for some reason a little bit extra. And I already know that
Is
if
that MSRP for the base model, or is it for the one with all the
for
features?
for that model, I don't know. I'd have to double check. But what I do know is that I would haggle to death to get it because that's just not it's not worth it because they do all this like freight fees, they do all the freight fees, they do a dock fee, they taxes of course. You can't do anything about that unfortunately, but I would try to if I were to get a car like that, I would try to get it as low as possible to the MSRP.
Mm-hmm.
But because for a car like that you see right there, Logan, it'd be like 25,000 out the door,
Yeah. Uh,
and I don't want that.
Yeah. It can
So,
get expensive real quick. But
yeah,
based
I'm
on
not
that,
doing
just
that.
that thumbnail, it looks like a nice one. Does it have light
I like it.
interior?
Yeah, it's a gray interior,
Yeah.
like a light gray interior. It's nice. I like it.
Yeah. And 10-year drivetrain warranty on a Hyundai, that's always good.
100,000 miles. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that one's got 3,000 on it, and I know you're asking, oh, then you ought to just buy a brand new one. I get that.
Well,
And
3,000's not enough to be like, okay, this isn't worth considering. Like I would choose a probably choose a 3,000 mile one in good if it hasn't had been tampered with or anything.
it's only had one owner, and they owned it from May of 2024
Oh,
up
and
until
it makes me
November
wonder why they got rid of it though. That's
because
always
they
the
couldn't
question.
afford it. They couldn't afford it. I'm almost 90% certain they couldn't afford it.
Yeah. Well,
They were behind on payments, and Hyundai took it in. They cleaned it up and everything. That's another thing too. You get like this like stocking fee slash cleaning fee as well.
yeah.
I'm not gonna pay for that or anything. I could go elsewhere and get a better deal. That's
Yeah.
another thing too for negotiating that I've learned. I did a bunch of I went online. I saw the hand gestures. I'm turning into Trump, but I don't know if you've seen a video. I could actually show you real quick. Let me
You're
go to
becoming the
YouTube.com.
master of negotiation and you're doing the hand gestures. It's just can't help ourselves anymore.
I tried haggling for a new car. I don't know if you've seen this,
No,
but
I haven't seen it yet, but it did come up in my
it's
recommended.
so good. It's such a good video. He got it. He was not paying. He paid I think it was 26,800 for the car. And this was the initial balance. So he got a heck of a deal off of it.
So we got
And they
three
were
thousand
saying
off.
pretty much.
Wow.
Another thing too is that for some
Well, he
reason
still
I don't.
paid over the market value selling price.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look at this. The adjusted market value, they do that too as well. I'm not paying for that. I could go elsewhere and pay
Adjusted
for it.
market value, that's probably. I don't know what that means. I'm sure they don't know what that means. They'd give you
They
some
don't.
BS answer that
They
doesn't mean
do.
anything.
They do. They
Car,
do
I
that all
mean,
the time
that's the thing. That's why people don't like buying cars, and they
because you have
don't.
to deal with them.
Yeah, they don't. They don't like a lot of people
I
prefer buying directly from the manufacturer nowadays, even if it means you don't get a dealer near you. Like for cars like Rivian, um, and other kind of more bespoke electric cars, people really prefer buying directly from the manufacturer and like having it shipped to them because you don't have to deal with the salespeople. And I get it, salespeople have to make a living, but
well, they got to
some are
get
just,
commission off of it.
yeah, they get a commission. I I don't know. It takes a certain kind of person to be a salesperson. I think, typically this is like general case, so this does not account for every personality in sales, but most people in sales have similar personality. Most people in sales are kind of, I don't know, it seems like they're more willing to tell lies to to make a sale.
Well, the thing is, I do it too, especially at work. I tell people this is the last one that we have, and it's to create a sense of urgency. But in actuality, there's like probably there's gonna be so many more Toyota Corolla hybrids out there. That's another thing too. This dealer that the guy was talking to, he was like, "Oh, we actually only have a couple left with us." Like my brother in Christ, it's a Toyota Corolla.
You
They're
reminded me
everywhere.
of something. You know that Miata my dad was looking at, the special
Yeah,
edition one?
yeah, yeah. It was 36,000, I think, somewhere around there for the end of.
36,000. But the thing is, only 300 for America. Urgency. Can you believe that?
Only 300 in the United States?
Yeah. Isn't that
Really?
crazy?
They're only going to make 300 for the. Yeah, those are going to sell for millions. Or maybe not
Uh,
millions, but at least in the
mm,
1 to 200 grand, I would
uh,
say.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you got the Broncos that are the special edition, and they don't go for that much more. So I mean, it's a $36,000 car. It's probably like maybe they would get a premium over, but I don't think people value like light interior and a tan top as much as we do. Like people
I
like
love
black cars.
I love the tan interior. I do not like black interior. I don't
Yeah.
like black leather. When it gets hot outside,
Yeah.
that's the most miserable experience
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool and sleek.
Yeah. If you live
No,
in a place where it
burning in the
gets
sun is.
above 80 degrees, it's like, wow, I'm sitting in an oven right now. I am actually going to get a burn. Um,
If
Black
I
cars
really
and
wanted to
black
burn,
interior just are really not our style. So that's like why.
I'll go get some McDonald's hot coffee if I really wanted to burn.
Didn't they have a lawsuit over that?
They did, and you want to know why McDonald's had it so hot? Because they cheaped out on the coffee that they had, and it would because the hotter the temperature, you can't taste anything. That's why. That's why it was so hot, and they got
uh,
sued for it
that's
because she
so
got like
funny.
internal burns or whatever it was.
They're trying to burn off everybody's taste buds so that people can't taste the bad coffee. Uh, but yeah, that Miata, there's that urgency. So
It's a beautiful car, don't get me wrong, and from afar. it looks a little kind of brownish to some extent,
Yeah,
but if you pay close attention to it, it's like a dark red wine.
depending upon the lighting,
The
it can look
lighting and
anywhere
everything.
from like purple to blood red to brown. It's so strange, but it looks I think it looks really cool in the in
It's
the
nice.
in the media that
It
I've
reminds
seen.
me of the early Mazda Miata special
Yeah.
editions with that color. They had a color similar to it, not like the bright red or anything, but the NA, it was a nice one.
Let's see if I can find a picture.
Yeah, with MSRP, I think it was 36,000 or something. That's it, right?
No.
No, that's not it.
Mm-mm.
It's darker than that.
Yeah. Ah. Celebrating 30 years.
No, that's not it.
No. Um, ah. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it.
Type in 35th anniversary Mazda Miata.
35th anniversary gift. Um.
I mean, that's what it looks like. Under
This
certain
is a
lighting
bad
conditions,
picture,
they
unfortunately.
should have it listed on their website now.
I know, you would think so. Anyway, this is. I'll show the camera to the people. This is what it looks like. It's this really dark red color. And you can get this tan top. That's the biggest incentive. It's like a creamy color, sort of. And if you don't get this one, you get a black top. And it gets hot here, so black tops are not the best. Uh, I don't know. I think if my dad was gonna get one, this would be the one. But the problem is we have too many cars, so I don't know. It's an interesting dilemma, and only 300, which is absolutely insanity. Absolute insanity. I don't know. Like I almost think, oh, that interior is beautiful too. It's the cream colored interior. Uh, Manual transmission. Like this is the pinnacle basically of drivers' cars for people that don't know much
Here you
about
go.
cars. Oh yeah, he's got a better picture. Check that out. That's nice. It's like a really dark, deep red, and it I think it looks really good. Um, they have that nice interior that goes along with it. He also likes the wheels. He doesn't like the black wheels that go along. Like he doesn't like painted wheels because they get scuffed up really easily, and you can see the silver or whatever underneath. So
He was number one.
they that it looks really nice.
Pre-production model.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if you order it or
I think that's it. That's all they have to show for it. I didn't see
yeah,
anything.
but it's not that much of a premium over just the standard model, which is
Contact
kind of
dealer.
surprising thing. Yeah,
Concord.
we have a Mazda dealership here in town, so that's nice too. If you ever needed service, you could just take it there. Yeah.
Well
Well,
then.
um, let's see. Do we want to get started on the first thing?
Yeah, if you want to.
So this came out, this Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna
Yeah, we were supposed to talk about this last week.
yeah, we this came out 8 days ago. This trailer did, and um, I want to know: are you gonna buy one?
No.
Explain yourself.
So I'm gonna because usually what Nintendo does for this kind of stuff, it's an LCD screen. Usually about a year or two later,
Yeah.
they'll release an OLED model.
Yeah. So you're gonna hold out for an OLED maybe?
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Unless, and this is a big unless, if Microsoft ports, because it's rumored to be true,
Halo.
um, if they port Halo to the newest Nintendo Switch, and if they port Call of Duty to the Switch native,
Yeah.
not streaming it, native, they are able to make it work on the Switch natively. If they can do that, I see that as an absolute win, and I would probably cape and buy one. Because if it means that I can have it on here, but not on the Steam Deck, so be it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'd cave.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's gonna be a pretty powerful device as well. Like,
Here, pause at the part before it connects, because that's everybody's, like, biggest, go up a little bit. Yeah,
this
that's everyone's biggest concern. That little
pin.
display, not, yeah, the little pin, like, it's not childproof. I'm
Yeah,
just
you're.
gonna say that.
It's kind of worrisome. You know, it might snap off. Uh, what if you don't align the controllers correctly? What if? Yeah, I imagine there are a lot of things that could go wrong with that. I assume
I
they
think it's
tested it though,
I
right?
yeah, another thing too is that the rumor is that the Joy-Cons are magnetized this time around.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That sounds right.
It
Because
looks
it
like it's
doesn't look like there's
magnetized.
any other mechanism in there that would connect them up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm excited for this thing, but I can't see myself buying one, at least not right away.
Off rip, no. I mean, I applaud Nintendo for actually following the game preservation route this time around, especially for the Switch. Able to play all of your Nintendo Switch games on the Switch 2 with the
Yeah.
same SD cartridge. I applaud them for that. Nintendo is notorious for ditching whatever type of cartridge they use in favor of a new one.
Yep.
So I'm glad that they are actually sticking to it this time around.
Yeah. I
But
think they're probably making a new cartridge, but they're doing it like DS and 3DS style, where you can put the smaller cartridge in the bigger slot.
yeah,
So that wouldn't
that's
surprise
probably
me if
what
that
they
was the
are gonna
case.
do.
Uh,
Yeah, because if you actually look at it from through that lens, it pretty much is like the 3DS of the Nintendo DS.
yeah,
Like it's an upgrade.
it's
It's
bigger.
pretty
It's
much it's yeah. The 3DS was an upgrade of the DS. That's pretty much it. That's what the Switch is in
yeah,
comparison to that generation of consoles.
right.
So I mean, it's gonna sell. I'll just say that. A lot of people are doubtful of it. They were doubtful of the Nintendo Switch when it was first revealed and
Yeah, that's
everything,
true.
but which is crazy to me because when I first saw that trailer, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is really cool. I like what they have here.
Yeah.
I like what they got going here.
Well, it was such a unique design, and it paved the way for so much of what modern gaming is. The controllers, they were super unique in their design.
It's
The
user friendly.
Yeah, it
It's
was user
accessible.
friendly. It was modular. The haptics in the controllers and the gyro were something that hadn't been really seen before.
No, yeah,
Um, the fact that you could turn your handheld into a console by just popping it into this slot, it
into
was
this
really big.
docking station.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
Well, a lot of people are interested mostly about the hardware itself, like the specs that it comes with.
Yeah.
From what I know, it's supposed to harness the same power, like a fourth of the power of an RTX 30 series graphics card. I don't know in comparison to which graphics card, but there is going to be some type of DLSS upscaling. What I do know is that according to the leaks, I don't know if it's true or not, but when the Switch is docked, it's going to be able to charge up the Switch, like it'll supercharge it, like it'll be a lot more powerful when it's docked. Like there'll be a little bit more extra power with it, and it's able to, render stuff at 4K.
Yeah.
Not native 4K, but render it at 4K. So it'll upscale it to 4K quality. So the
Yeah.
dock does this weird type of, I don't know what it is, but as soon as you set the switch in the dock, it'll make it more powerful. It'll make the switch more powerful if it weren't docked. If that makes sense. I don't know if that does, but that's what I heard. I don't know if
The
it's
dock
true.
is going to make this more powerful.
Like it'll be a couple of extra more teraflops if you dock it in.
That's what I heard as well. Like there were rumors that they had a cooling system in the dock that when you docked it, it would cool the APU down better or whatever, and help you get
So
some extra mileage out of it.
apparently, and it actually gets me a little bit excited talking about it because it does make me want to buy one, but I need to see the third party. It seems like AAA games are actually,
Going to be possible on this.
you can port them. You can
Yeah.
port them to the Switch too now.
Well, they already have AAA games on the Switch. They just run like
Well,
absolute crap.
okay, I will say this. There are some great exceptions for AAA games. There's Skyrim, there's Doom, Doom Eternal, there's also The Witcher 3.
Yep.
All of those games, Red Dead Redemption 1, it is a AAA game,
Do
of
they
course,
don't have two
Rockstar.
on there, do they?
No, they don't. But I bet you Rockstar is going to put Red Dead Redemption 2 on here to some extent. It would take a couple of years because their main priority is Grand Theft Auto 6, but
Yeah.
I don't see GTA 6 running on that. I'm sorry.
You think
I
that
don't.
game is going to come out this year?
No, it's not. It's going to be 2026 or 2027. It'll
Interesting.
be 20. It's going to get delayed this year because Rockstar by now they would have put out a trailer already. They would have. They would have put out a second trailer. So chances are in summertime they'll put out another trailer for the game,
Yeah.
but it's going to be fall of 2026 or like September of 2026. That's what happened with Red Dead Redemption 2. That's what happened with Grand Theft Auto 5 and all their other Grand Theft Auto titles and Red
Yeah.
Dead Redemption as well. Rockstar's notorious for the whole delays and everything, but as long as I know that the game is going to come out, that's fine by me. I'm fine with that. As long as I know the game comes out, it'll eventually come out. I see that as a win for any company and any other like third party AAA studio.
Yeah.
But going back to the Switch, um, I do hope that we see a lot more of like the AAA games on.
Definitely.
And I know we will. I know we will. It's apparently, I don't know if it's true. I'm hearing that it is more powerful than the Steam Deck in terms of hardware.
That would be really good because the Steam Deck it's not super powerful, but it is, I would say, a really capable machine.
Like it's more powerful than a PlayStation 4, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
That's what I hear. Yeah. Um so
The only downside to look, you can for the Steam, and I applaud Valve for this, for consumer rights and everything. I applaud them for that. I really do. But I wish to some extent that we would be able to play some of the games that we want on the Steam Deck. Like if I could play COD on the Steam Deck, I would be playing COD on the Steam Deck. I absolutely would.
yeah,
But
the
because of
anti
the
cheat.
whole yeah, and I feel like to some extent, okay, if you want to play it under this OS, you need to have this Proton version and you need to have this client downloaded. That way it can go to it's like a kernel level driver where it goes to the root of your system, of course, to see whether or not you're actually cheating. I feel like that's how it should be. But I mean, only time will tell. I really hope to some extent that we do see that because Valve, from what I know at least, before Microsoft acquired Activision, they did have a little bit of a say for whether or not they should go follow through with the deal and everything. And I think that's huge. I guess that comes to show how big of a like company Valve Software is. But
Yeah.
uh, I mean, for the Switch, I'm almost certain Halo Master Chief Collection is going to be on the Switch. I'm almost certain it's going to be on there. I don't know if there's going to be any other Halo titles coming to the Switch. I don't know if Guardians is going to be on there or Halo Infinite. What I also know is that it's rumored that Halo is also going to be making its way over to PlayStation sometime soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be this year. And there's always that rumor. I've heard it so many times that, oh, Halo's coming to PlayStation this year, and it never does. It seems like this time around with the Switch, it seems like it's going to be on. It's going to eventually make its way onto the PlayStation platform. I mean, playing Indiana Jones on the Switch and all that stuff, that sounds really cool to me as well. Wolfenstein, I mean, I get it. Those Some of those games are already on the first Switch, but if we're able to play it like 60 FPS or even 30, I'm fine with 30. I As long as it's playable. If we could play Cyberpunk on the Switch, hey, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. I'd be playing Cyberpunk on the Switch. But
Are there
okay,
any
I'm done.
any features that you think the Switch 2 probably won't have, but you would be really happy if it did right out the gate?
Hmm. I can't really say all that much because when it comes to Nintendo and their console making, they usually innovate in a lot of ways that you wouldn't expect them to.
Yeah.
And this is for every iteration of their console and for for how Nintendo does gaming. And I mean, you had the what was it, the N64 with that controller that had three grips on it.
Yeah.
I mean, they expected a lot of people back then to have three arms, but nobody has three arms. Nobody does. And you had the Wii, of course, with the motion controls. That was innovative. You saw Microsoft and PlayStation try to replicate that, but they
Yeah.
did even work. They did poorly at it. I'm just gonna say that they did kind of poor at it.
Yeah.
Um, and then you have the Wii U, which was kind of like this all-in-one gaming console. Like it was a at-home. Well, you couldn't really take it.
It was like
It,
a
it was
tablet
basically
that you could
it was
sit
like
and use,
it
and it
was
had
a
a
hub
stylus.
essentially. It was like a
Yeah.
hub tablet,
And then you also
and
could use the regular Wii type remotes. Yeah.
it was weird.
Yeah.
But what Nintendo did was they took that design and they just significantly improved upon it, and they made it to where, okay, I think this is what the Wii U should have been to begin with in the first place.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The reason I
I can't
asked
really
that
say about
question,
I can't really say all that much about for what I hope for what features there's going to be. I mean, I really can't. I mean, I'd be fine. I think it'd be cool if we could get some type of augmented reality type of game or something like that, like
yeah.
we saw with 3DS. But it doesn't look like there's cameras on this or anything. The only thing that I can think of is like the control sensors. That's about it. I'm not seeing anything else. To me, this is just basically what the DS to the 3DS is. It's just a major upgrade in terms of hardware, and you get a lot more better looking games that perform a lot better than the DS. That's what I see it and view it as. And if I go in with those expectations, I'm all set. I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
smooth sailing. I got
Yeah.
nothing to complain about. And that's the only innovation I need. I
Yeah.
don't, if you just take this, make it 10% better, and I'm already happy.
Yeah. I think people would definitely be happy if they just gave it a boost. I think that would definitely make plenty of people happy. But as for the like features that you want, there are a couple things that have been circulating around, a couple rumors. One is wireless docking. So you can
Like
dock
stream
it
it
to
to
your
the TV.
TV and play on the Switch itself wirelessly. So you don't have to have it in the dock to be docked. You can so then you can use it like a 3DS where you have the the bottom screen on the Switch and you have the top screen as your TV. And people are hoping that
Wasn't
that
that a
makes
rumor?
Yeah, it's a rumor. But people are hoping that that makes 3DS games playable via some sort of backwards compatibility or Nintendo eShop or whatever.
Well, if it means I get to play Ocarina of Time again, I mean, I'd be happy with that. I already have Ocarina of Time for the 3DS, and I will say that's worth the $50. I'd still pay another $50 just to play that game again. Nintendo, I will say, they are notorious for like overcharging for a lot of their titles. They rarely do sales, and the reason why is because they're actually good games. But
Yeah, there are a lot of good games and they can make good money on all of them.
well, and they're a first party company, especially, so they make their own console, they make their own games. I guess you could say it's kind of like Valve, but the thing is, the difference between the Switch and the Steam Deck is that a lot of people know more about the Nintendo Switch than the Steam Deck. When they
Yeah,
hear the Steam Deck, they're like, "What's that? I've
yeah,
never heard of that before."
right.
So the Switch has a lot more of an appeal, and it's a lot more recognizable, I guess. People
I
eas
I
easily
think I
see it.
remember hearing that the Steam Deck had sold something like 3 million units, and I think the
Switch sold like
Switch,
150.
yeah, it's like 150. So that's the difference between the Switch and the Steam Deck.
Well, it's on the way to dethrone the PlayStation 2.
Yes, in
The
terms of
PlayStation the PlayStation 2 is the number one best-selling console of all
all
time.
time, yeah. And that's
What was it?
amazing.
The Nintendo 3DS, I forgot how many units it sold. It was well over 100 million, I think.
The 3DS?
Yeah, or the
I
DS
think
too.
or the DS, I think one of those two outsold the Switch. Still. Still holds.
I think it was the 3DS.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I think one of those two still holds the number above the Switch. So, not entirely sure though. Um
Well, you know what I wonder? Oh, okay, here's a feature that I would like, Logan.
yeah.
So all of the Nintendo Switch titles that we have at the moment, like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart 8, Super Mario Party, all the
Yeah.
other Nintendo first party titles. This is a feature I would like to see. You put that in the Switch 2, you take Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, you put that into the Switch 2, and it upscales it, and you're able to play the game at 60 FPS on the go.
People would be
That
really happy about that.
I would love that. If
Yeah.
Nintendo were to do that, I would see that as a huge win in my book. That is one of the few features that I would like to see is an performance increase. As soon as you stick that little SD card reader or whatever, that little cartridge into the Switch, it recognizes it. It has all your save data and everything.
Yeah.
And I want
So,
a new user interface as well for the Switch as well. That's
yeah,
another
I
thing.
I
I'm hoping
imagine
it gets that.
I imagine we'll get one. But
I hope so.
yeah, I could see them leaving it the same, unfortunately.
Because it's kind of like the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X. They're
Yeah.
the exact same user interface.
The
I
thing is they
really hope
updated
that
the
they don't
Xbox
do that.
One I think after they did the series they released the Series X, so they just brought the Xbox One up to date. But yeah, you really hope that they what?
I really hope that they actually do like a brand new user interface and everything. I really do
Yeah,
because it would make it feel like a brand
fresh.
new console instead of, oh, this feels like a mid-gen console refresh
Right.
for what I bought over 7 years ago.
Was it only 7 years ago?
Not seven. It's gonna be 8 years. Soon to be eight. Switch is old, man. Switch came out in 2017.
Yeah, and well, the series console is 5 years old now, right?
So I mean, this is about the
Doesn't
right time.
feel that old though.
I know. Well, the thing is, it's like I think we talked about it last time as well. But COD 2025 is going to be, or not 2025, 2026. COD 2026 is going to be a launch title for the newest Xbox called Xbox Prime. It's a brand new Xbox made by by the Xbox team over at Microsoft. A brand
That's
new
a
one.
rumor,
So
isn't it?
they're trying to I think I see what they're trying to go here with it. Yeah, but even though it's a rumor, there's this guy on Twitter. Of course, that's my source. His name is the Ghost of Hope. He's been right about literally everything when it comes to the Call of Duty related news. He talks about all the upcoming features, what the next title is going to be, what are some of the features that are going to be present within the game, and lo and behold, everything is head on the nail. It's always correct. So I trust the guy. He's reputable. I'm waiting on Tom Henderson to say something about it because Tom Henderson usually he does deliver pretty good credible information, I would say.
Yeah.
And he's been right about almost everything when it comes to reporting, stuff within the gaming industry and what games are coming up. But I mean, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to replicate the Xbox 360 and PS3 era. They're trying to get ahead of the game at first. That way, hey, come over, come join us and everything. You're already ahead of everyone else. I don't know, but I
When
think
let's see, the
the new
PS4
Gears of War
launched
game
in
with
2012, 2014,
2013.
2013. So it had
Both of
been,
those consoles launched in 2013.
and
Even
the
the Wii U
PS5 launched in 2020, right?
and the new Xbox as
So
well.
that's 7 years. So we can expect a new Xbox and a new PlayStation by 2027,
It could be
which is only
2027.
2 years.
Well, the thing is, uh, the original Xbox 360 launched in 2005, and
Mm-hmm.
the PS3 launched a year afterwards.
Yeah.
Nobody bought the PS3 because it was overpriced. It was,
Did
what was
the
it? It
did,
was like $600 at launch or something.
did the original Xbox? Yeah. Did the original Xbox launch in '99? Was it
2001.
2000?
2001
2001. Okay. Interesting.
with the original Halo.
Oh, so it was
Halo
only
Combat.
5 years between that one and the
Yeah.
360?
Well, technically four.
Wow. That's crazy to think about.
Well, I forgot what the MSRP was for the Xbox 360. I think it was 300. I think it was 299 for an Xbox 360 back in 2005, or was it 250? It
I don't
was
know.
cheap. It
Yeah.
was like a dirt cheap console from
Yeah.
what I know.
And
And
now
the
I'm over
problem
here
with it,
paying $600 for my Series X. Oh,
you get a red ring of death with the Xbox 360.
yeah, that's true.
So
But that brings me to one other thing. What do you think the price of the Switch 2 is going to be?
at worst 600, at best 450.
You think best 450? Like, didn't the Switch launch at 300?
Okay, how about this? Let's be a little bit more
Okay, I
realistic.
agree with you.
At
I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the Nintendo community are expecting a 300 or 350 price drop right now.
It's not going to be $300. It
Yeah,
is not going to be
that
three
I think
hundred
that
bucks.
is way
There is
too low.
no way that it's going to
How
be
much does the
300
Steam
bucks.
Deck cost? It's 400 for the base model?
So we could go to Valve's website.
Yeah.
Actually, let's go to Steam.
Pizza Angel, please
Steamy
come
Deck.
to me. Okay,
So brand new Steam Deck LCD
400.
400.
Okay. Do we think that the Switch 2 is going to have 256 gigs of storage?
It's supposed to.
Is it?
That's the rumor.
Okay.
That's the confirmed amount.
So
Somebody
I would say,
somebody took it apart. They actually did take a picture of the hardware inside, and that's what made people go to the conclusion that it has hardware similar to an RTX 30 series graphics card, like a quarter of the power of it on the APU and the GPU. What I forgot the terminology, but it's similar in terms of graphical fidelity and power, similar to that card.
yeah. So I would say
It's going to
if
be
the
two.
Steam Deck
It's
is at 400, that's probably what we can expect. 400. I could see it going down to 350, but definitely not 300. Um,
No.
350 would be like uh, Nintendo is willing to lose money.
Well, even at Logan, even at $400,
Yeah.
Nintendo is willing to lose money. That's another thing too. They sell the consoles at at a
Do
cost,
we
at a
think
profit loss.
do we think
Over
that
time, it'll
Valve
be cheaper to manufacture.
Yeah, that's true. Do we think that Valve is losing money on Steam Decks?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. I don't think
Um
so.
I imagine their margins are pretty slim though.
You'll
So, but
notice
it
that
has to justify making
Valve
them.
said, I remember there was a statement that came out from Valve. They mentioned that there isn't going to be a Steam Deck 2 for a while because they want to wait until like the hardware does actually get better. They don't want to do a small upgrade every like a year or two. They don't
Well,
want to do
how
that.
long has it been since those came out? Like 4 years, right? 5 years?
How long has the Steam Deck been out? When did
Yeah.
it launch? Like 2021?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So you could go to refurbished and they're completely out of stock.
Yeah, that's interesting. Um
Those are really cool
yeah, so I'm
technological.
still wondering.
I'd buy a pair of those.
I
Those
don't
are
know.
really cool.
Could you see it going down to 350 for the Switch 2? Do you think that's even a remote possibility?
No.
No.
No, it's going to be at best 400, at worst 600.
Yeah, I agree with the at worst price. I don't think
It's
that
going
they'll
to
go
be
up to 600. I don't
it'll
think that's going to
it's
happen.
going to people are going to buy it over the PS5 Pro. I'll tell you that. They're going to buy it over the PS5 Pro.
Yeah,
If the
definitely.
PS5 Pro wanted to compete, they would take $100 off of that console right now. It would be 600 bucks. I would if I'd be willing to pay a little bit extra. That's another thing too. We talked about that before. It's not worth getting that stupid console. I'm sorry. It's not worth it. Take
It's
that
like
the
so out
base
of the
model,
realm of consideration. It's like, what are you even doing?
$90 for a disk drive, and then $700, right? I think it's 700 for the all digital PS5 Pro. Okay, take that, and then on top of that, you got to pay if you want a yearly subscription. You got to pay $80 for it. Otherwise, you're out of luck. And in order, if
Yeah.
you want to play online multiplayer,
And if you want
it
the stand, you're going to have to pay an extra 30 bucks.
that's ridiculous. It's just nickel and diming.
I know.
It's not worth it. Don't
There's no
buy one of
respect in
these.
that console for PlayStation fans, I tell you.
Buy one of these. Buy one of these. You'll
Yeah.
either get this or the Switch
Buy
2.
one of those to play
I'd
Marvel
do the
Rivals
Switch
on.
2. I'd do the Switch 2. Oh, if Marvel Rivals comes out on the Switch 2, that'd be nice. I'd like that. I would play that.
The other thing about the Switch being more powerful than the Steam Deck is I think there's a difference between doing Linux compatibility layers in Proton and having native support for every game that's every proprietary game on a flagship console, right? So I think that everything's going to be way better optimized for the Switch than for the Steam Deck, and I think it probably could shred the Steam Deck, unless they just like give it a crap-tastic processor, right? Like if the processor's a piece of junk and they just make up for it with their proprietary,
It's an 8-core processor.
yeah,
It's an 8-core processor, Logan.
how many cores are in the PS4?
I think it's a
Was it four?
I think it's a quad core.
Okay,
And I think the Switch was a dual core. I don't know.
I think you're right on that. Yeah,
How many cores does
I have high
the
hopes for the Switch 2. I'm not going to buy one out the gate. I'm going to wait for people to say, "Hey, this is a really good thing." But I can't imagine it's going to be like that. I think it's probably going to be more like, yeah, this is a good upgrade. If you just bought a Switch, you're gonna feel bad about it, but for the most part, it's just like, yeah, whatever. It's a good upgrade. Decent processor. So I don't know. That's my expectation. What do you think about the this part here? Um, where is it? This.
Oh, with the, I feel like those are going to be used as like mouses
They
or
slide them
mice.
in something and then they glide around.
It's going to be used as mice.
You think
That's
it's
what it's going
actually
to be
going to be
used
used as a mouse?
as. Yeah, I think it'll be used as
What
a
if
mouse.
it's for like what's that game? Ice no. Air hockey. What if it's for like
That
air
would be,
hockey?
it's probably going to be used as that. You lay the tablet on the ground and then you
Yeah.
have
You
yours
stand
on
on
one
either
side.
side of it and then you go back and forth. That'd be cool.
I think that was probably why they had a bigger screen too to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it? Like an 11? No. No, no, no. 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 How big is the screen?
It's going to be probably the same size as the Steam Deck.
You think so? Maybe the
It's a
Steam
little
Deck
bit bigger.
OLED. The Steam Deck has a
Okay,
small screen.
wait. Go back to the go back to the first portion of the video because they show you like a size comparison between the original and the Switch. Okay, so it's slightly
Okay, wait. I
bigger.
gotta show that
Okay.
again because I didn't show it. Okay, it's not that much bigger. Also, look
Okay.
at these big bezels,
I know they're gonna do an OLED model. I'm telling you, they will do an OLED
and it's
model
gonna
like
be
a
so
year.
much better
I know. I don't know why they do the LCD. I'd be willing to pay extra.
to keep
Well,
the price
actually,
down
they
at the
probably do.
launch.
Well, they do it. Yeah, that's an yeah. They do an LCD screen to keep it as cheap as possible at launch. So that makes sense.
Which means there's a chance it goes for
There's your
350.
size comparison. So it's going to be probably around the same,
Okay.
a little bit bigger than the Steam Deck, probably.
Okay. I mean, the OLED screen is bigger than the Steam Deck's, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be bigger. It's going to be a lot bigger. Like, okay, wait. I got to get out my Steam Deck because I want to see the size here.
Here, I got mine too.
Okay,
Let me get my.
maybe my Steam Deck might not have power. It
Every
doesn't.
time I take
It's
this out of the
dead.
case, I love holding it.
So wait, okay. So maybe we can expect it to be like
Here,
that. It's gonna be a little bit bigger, I think. I mean, this is not a small device. This feels big, don't you think? Like when you hold the Switch in comparison to this feels heavy and big and stuff. Okay. That's an OLED Switch, isn't it?
Yeah.
This so the screen is bigger, but the bezels are smaller. I mean, the
Well,
screen is the same
take
size,
into
but the
account
bezels are smaller.
this is an OLED Steam Deck as well.
Does that have a bigger screen
Yeah. Oh well, the
or just
bezels are
smaller
smaller,
bezels? Yeah, just smaller
smaller
bezels.
bezels.
Interesting. Okay. So it's gonna be a fairly decent size, I think, which would be nice. I mean,
It'll be a little bit bigger. It's going to be bigger than the Steam Deck in terms of screen size.
I don't like the Joy Cons. That's my problem.
Nobody does.
They're uncomfortable. They like jut into the palm of your hand,
Nobody likes them.
and that
I don't like them. I
this
like these,
whatever
but
this is
no.
just looks the same. It's more of the same, right?
You gotta look for Nintendo's philosophy. You gotta understand that they are trying to make the console as accessible as possible to so many people. That's why it was successful in the first place. That's why you have those terrible Joy-Cons. That's why they exist. It's for accessibility.
I mean, I guess I like that they're gonna
In
add a
terms
little
of the
texture instead of smooth plastic all the way. But
ergonomics slogan, they designed it like that for a reason, so that way
uh,
it can be used as an individual controller.
yeah, I
I'm
guess.
telling you, that's why. That was the philosophy,
Well,
and they
I know
stuck
it's
with
the
it.
philosophy. I just don't like it.
Nobody likes it. I don't like it
They're
because we're
horribly
all selfish
uncomfortable.
people. We're all hoarders. We like our own stuff.
Yeah.
We
The
don't like
Steam
to
Deck is
share.
comfy, but I guess
I don't like sharing this. This is my prized possession. Nobody can have it except me. Except unless when I'm dead, you can have it, of course.
that's your special edition
I'll
one,
write
right?
that on my will. I'll be like, he can have my special edition Nintendo Switch, Tears of the Kingdom.
uh, yeah.
Mike can have my uh actually you could have my OLED.
Dude, by the time you're dead, it's gonna be like ancient hardware. Can you
It will, but
imagine?
I'm never selling this stuff. I'm never selling it.
Yeah. I don't think I'll sell mine either because it's just like,
Well, how
just keep
much
it
is
around.
this worth now? How much I wonder
Nothing.
how much you don't think the limited edition
I don't
Tears of
know.
the Kingdom
I don't know.
it's now worth last time I checked, it was like 400 or 500 bucks.
You think so?
That's the last time I checked.
I mean, if like the if you keep it in good condition, they last long. They after about a decade, they're worth more. But um, my sister has the Zelda Golden Zelda Edition 3DS XL from back in the day, and uh, it sells for a pretty decent amount on eBay or whatever. So Tears of the Kingdom Switch.
You want brand new though. You want brand new.
$300, basically the same.
Pretty
But
much around there.
yeah, if you keep it in good condition for a long time, chances are it'll be worth something one day. Um,
You didn't get the game with it though. That's the unfortunate part about it.
I
You
know.
don't get the game with it.
That was so
Like
lame.
that was the lame part. I still have the Joy Cons in the box.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm not taking those out. Those are precious to me. I
They're
think I
very
showed
cool.
this to you before, but for these ones, these are I
GUI kit
bought a
upgrades, right?
well, they have the Ghoulie Kit Hall effect sticks in them, so I don't get any more strict stick drift. That was not fun to install. I will
Mm.
say, for the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con hardware, it is the biggest pain in the butt that I've ever worked on. I would rather rebuild an iPhone from the ground up than do this. This was not fun because
uh,
I stripped some of the screws by accident. They're super easy to strip. It's a nightmare. On top of that, when I was repairing it with when I was putting in the Ghoulie Kit Hall Effect Joy Cons, it snapped, and I had to buy another one off of Amazon,
the
and
case
that was
did.
not fun. No, the actual Ghoulie Kit thing, the little
Ah.
tiny wiring to connect to the
Oh,
motherboard, it was not fun.
yeah.
I hated it. It was not fun at all. But in the end, I I bought the shells off of Amazon. They were similar to another Nintendo Switch. They're pretty much a carbon copy, like a copy and paste like shell
Mhm.
of another special edition Zelda Joy-Cons that are worth like probably like 200 bucks.
Yeah.
So I just said, forget it. I'll just pay 20 bucks for the actual shells and I'll just put the old Joy-Con stuff into this and call it a day.
Mhm.
And these are like the best Joy-Cons that I have now. Like these are the best of the best Joy-Cons.
Sweet. Um.
And they got like spring triggers on them. It's so nice. And I swapped out the the little latch that comes with it to hook onto the console, they're metal now this time around and not plastic.
Yeah.
So they're not going to break. That's nice. I'm done ranting.
Do you think that the Switch 2 is gonna have Hall effect sticks?
You know, I don't know if Nintendo would actually follow through with that because even though they are good at innovating in certain areas for their consoles, they are also really bad at, you know,
Doing
holding
the right
certain
thing?
yeah, if they were to do Hall effect Joy-Cons, then I would applaud them for that.
Yeah.
I would applaud
Or
them. I think that'd be
at
good.
least decrease the likelihood of getting drift. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
but look
Or
at this.
provide some
Okay,
software that helps fix it.
so for the Joy-Cons, they look just like a bigger Joy-Con.
Yeah.
They look like in terms of the design with those sticks, it looks exactly the same. And I
Yeah.
really hope that they did actually solve the stick drift issue because it's been a huge problem
Yeah.
ever since
I
the
think there have
Switch
been
launched.
lawsuits over it.
Really?
I think so.
I don't know. Maybe.
It's ridiculous. I'm sure they've made buku bucks off of the replacement Joy-Cons though from stick
Of
drift.
course they did. They made a bunch of buku bucks. Why else wouldn't they, Logan?
Yeah. Um oh, I was going to say one more thing, but I forgot. Oh, material quality. I'm hoping that this has higher material quality because the Switch feels like crap to me. Like it feels like it's made out of the worst plastic. And the Joy-Cons, they feel like garbage to me. Like I don't think they use very good plastic. So I'm
Well,
hoping,
Logan, they gotta sell it at a profit loss. How else are they supposed to?
well, but I want it.
But I I want it, but I don't know if I should.
Well, I mean, obviously there's a material change here. Like they showed that the plastics are textured as opposed to just the smooth plastic that you can get on the normal Joy Cons.
Yeah,
So I'm hoping that it feels a little bit more premium
I
and
think they would to some extent. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure that they would. You
Also,
know,
kind of hoping that the dock is better.
it's been 8 years. They ought to at this rate.
Yeah,
Huh?
I'm also hoping that the dock is better because the original Switch dock was absolutely terrible. Has connection issues up the wazoo, and it feels like a piece of junk. Um, the
I wonder what the
OLEDs.
resolution is going to be.
Say again.
I wonder what the resolution is going to be. At best, I would hope 900p. At worst, they better not do 720p again. I mean, I'm fine with 720p, but I feel like at this rate they should be able to do 1080p on the go. I feel like they should be able to hit that margin.
That would be
But
nice.
if they're trying to conserve power and also have good performance,
I could see
seven I'd
900.
be I'm fine with 720p. I'd live with it. It's
It's
fine. It's a
so
small screen.
painful.
I know, but well, okay, then maybe at best 800p.
Even 800p. Like you can see that the Steam Deck's resolution is not super high.
Well, Valve is aware of that, but
Yeah. So I feel like anything less than 900 is going to be subpar, like in my mind. If it's anything less than 900, I'm going to be slightly disappointed. Are my
if it
standards too high?
I really hope I know. I have low
Uh,
standards.
but this is like this. They gotta get this right because this is generation defining stuff.
Well, I think they will because, like I said before, it's gonna be basically what the 3DS was to the DS and everything.
Do
That's
you
basically
think
what this
people
is
are
to me.
willing to pay $450 for a better console? Better
I think
materials,
that
better screen, better everything.
okay, well, if I think they would be willing to pay 400, but not 450.
Really?
I
I would
think.
totally pay 450 for because you
Yeah, I guess I would pay 450 for it.
like
I guess so.
500. That's getting up there for this sort of thing.
No, look, if it's 500, I then I'm not paying for it.
I mean, I could
Maybe,
see
but
500 for an OLED
you got to
model,
convince me.
you know,
For an OLED, yes.
but like, I don't know. I just I my standards are so high, and I can't. They've been retailing the Switch still for $300, and
A good console.
it's a
It's
good
a good console.
console, but it's like
They'll do.
it's gonna
They're gonna
this is
do.
gonna be alongside the Switch in a lot of ways because
They're gonna do a price drop.
yeah,
They'll
I
do a
wonder if
price
they're
drop.
I wonder if they're still going to make games for the original Switch. You think so? For a few more years because that's what they've been doing for a lot of modern consoles.
Well, the only thing that I can think of is when they were working on Breath of the Wild, they did port that to the Wii U. That was a lot. That was also what was the launch title for the Switch was also it also launched on the Wii U at the same time.
Interesting. Hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. Because a lot of the launch titles for the Switch, I don't remember, but I do know that Mario Kart 8 eventually made its way onto the Switch, and a couple of other games too from the Wii U made its way onto the Switch. I can't say them off the top of my head.
Yeah, but they like deluxeified a lot of them, so they
They
weren't
did.
exactly the same. That's one thing that I'm a little worried about. Are they going to make us pay premiums to get upgraded or enhanced versions of our games that we already own?
Well, that's what Rockstar does.
Yeah.
That's what that's the only thing that I don't like about Rockstar games is that they do tend to nickel and dime a lot of stuff. They
Yeah.
will they will charge games like, "Oh, you got to pay $40 for the upgraded version on the PS5." Dude, I bought the game 7 years ago. What do you want about? I already paid for
It's a
that.
7-year-old game.
Give it to us for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you already own a copy of the game, give me the free upgrade.
I mean, would you be willing like if Breath of the Wild like that runs at 30 FPS, right, on
Hmm.
the Switch?
Yeah.
If they did a remastered version, 60 FPS, high resolution, would you pay another $70 for it? Or would you just use the original cartridge at 30 FPS low resolution?
I I wouldn't do either. I probably would say, forget this. I'm not buying the console as a whole. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, you got to give me a good, solid reason to actually pay for. I understand, like, oh, you get all the graphical enhancements and everything. I will say this may sound a little bit hypocritical, but Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo 64, that was the original. I forgot what year it launched. I think it was 1996 or 1995. I don't remember. 97, 99. I don't remember what year it came out. Somewhere in the 90s. And it took the world by storm. And it was one of the best selling video games of all time. Fast forwarding to the Nintendo 3DS life cycle, what they did was they took the exact same game and they just scrubbed the dirt off of it and just made it work for the 3DS, and it was amazing.
Hmm.
That was well worth it.
Yeah.
But if it's gonna be, the only thing that I can think of, it's like a comparison of The Last of Us. You have The Last of Us, which came out on the PS3, and then the PS4 came out. About a year later, it was The Last of Us remastered, and then you had The Last of Us Part Two, and then a couple years later, you have The Last of Us Part 2 remastered on the PS5, and then you have The Last of Us Part 1 remake of the original Last of Us. That's what I view it as.
Yeah.
it's just different iterations of an already existing game when it was already good to begin with, and all you had to do was just what do you call it? Double the tick rate. Do it from 30 to 60 for what the game should render at. 60 ticks a second, 60 FPS. That's what it. That's what I think it ought to be.
Yeah.
Because I already like. I don't think Breath of the Wild needs to be remastered. I don't think that at all. I think that as is with the game and its unique art style. That's another thing too with Nintendo. They use a unique art style so that way it looks, timeless.
Yeah.
So I really that the only feature that I hope for, of course, is just put it in the Switch 2. You already get all the enhancements that come alongside with it. You're basically going to get 60 FPS rendered at 720 native and not using some type of upscaling method to get it to, upscale to 720p.
Yeah.
But it plays at 320.
Can you imagine? Uh well, I mean, kind of on that note, like you brought up, I want to talk about this briefly, but you brought up 30 series graphics cards, and the 50 series just launched with the 5090. I think they had some reviews coming out recently. I think that was today probably on 50 series graphics cards. What do you think about the whole frame gen fake frames debacle?
So the only thing that I know in regards to that is what is it, the 5070? It harnesses the same power as the 4090 only if you have DLSS 4 enabled.
Yeah.
I don't care. I am not buying it. I'm not doing that. I'm fine with my AMD graphics card as is. I don't need a new computer.
Yeah.
I I don't see any need to upgrade. This seems so pointless to me at least. I don't see anything like something that grabs my attention of, oh, I really should upgrade because I'm going to be able to play these games at this level of fidelity.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't really see a need to upgrade. I don't. I'm already hitting out max. I'm already hitting a plateau in terms of performance on my PC. I think
Yeah.
this is just even more of a plateau,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, for the 50 series.
Right.
I don't care. Well, I care about, I want real native performance, not this DLSS third party upscaling type of software. I don't want to pay for some type of AI upscaling software to match performance for a card that I already paid so much money for when I could just, get the performance right out of the box. I guess that's what you got with the 4090 to some extent without anything being enabled,
Yeah, there
without
was a
any
lot of raw
upscaling.
performance there. But they also
Yeah,
have the upscaling.
yeah, but the thing is with the 5070, they're claiming, oh, it matches a 4090. It matches or it doubles the performance of a 4090, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, it just matches, I think.
Oh, it matches it. Okay. But that's only if you have DLSS enabled. That's the little asterisk.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pay money for fake frames. It's not happening. I want to pay money for good performance out of the box.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing for me is like I don't want to have to enable something in software.
So that
If
way the
they're
game is
going
playable.
Yeah, but I mean if they're going to do frame gen or something like that, um have it enabled out of the box. And if people don't like it and they want to turn it off, let them turn it off because I think a lot of people that buy Nvidia cards are the kind of people that um, don't want to tinker as much. Like when you buy an AMD
It's,
card or
it's,
a
it's a lot of more, a lot people, English, Nelson, English. in comparison to AMD, a lot of people go with Nvidia because, like you said,
Yeah,
it's a lot of people just recognize that brand more than AMD.
yeah, yeah. Like people that buy pre-builts are mostly buying Nvidia cards, and that's just kind of the nature of pre-builts. And
A lot of people are team green when
yeah,
it comes to that type of stuff.
yeah,
A lot of people are. When building a PC, most people would go with an Nvidia graphics card because, oh, that's I recognize that.
yeah,
I'm familiar with that brand. I'll just
yeah.
go with that. That's the biggest struggle with AMD because AMD is one of the biggest competitors to Nvidia.
Right.
That's why I went with AMD this time around because, dude, I honestly I don't care. I'll go in the opposite direction for what other people are doing. I don't want to follow trends. I want to set my own.
Right. Well, and I don't know. I guess the biggest thing for me is I just kind of want the software to kind of trickle down. I want the what they learn from these new cards to trickle down to other products like the Switch. Like if they can get frame gen going on the Switch, that's fine by me. You're not going to notice any of that sort of stuff on a small screen like that, so
Yeah,
that's fine. Especially if
I'm fine with frame gen on the Switch. I'd be totally fine with that.
yeah, there's I have no problem with that. So um, I don't know. It's almost like there's a different conversation um, to be had when you're talking about less expensive hardware. Like when you're buying a 5090, you don't want your all of your frames to be AI frames because you've already spent $2,000 on a graphics card.
You expect raw power out of the
Yeah,
box.
raw power. But when you're talking about something like a Switch or an Xbox and it's like $500
Something
or
like
less,
on the weaker side of things, it does make sense for
yeah,
there to be some type of AI upscaling to
right,
help with the performance to make the games playable on the Switch and
yeah.
stable.
And maybe they want better battery life or something like that, and they can get that with some of the AI technologies and whatever. That is where I think the conversation shifts. I think it you know goes from I really don't want fake frames to this is fine and it's on a small screen so I don't really care anyway. Um,
Well, what was it? I was surprised that Tears of the Kingdom actually performed decent on the Switch.
yeah, it was surprising how
It was going
nice it
from
looked.
25 to 30 FPS from what I've heard.
Yeah,
They were using some type of I watched Digital Foundry's video on it. They said that they were using some type of AMD technology to achieve it, to let it run at a stable 30 FPS. That was post patch. Pre patch, apparently, it was like averaging 20 FPS.
yeah.
I don't know, but
When I played it, it was post patch, but it was surprising how good it looked for the age of Nintendo's hardware, current hardware. So yeah, it was good. Um, yeah. On that note, do we want to move? Oh, move to this. This is cool. Let's watch
I know
this.
this is another id Software title because
Yeah, let's watch it.
Doom: The Dark Ages. Did you know Doom and the Master Chief were supposed to get an episode in one of Amazon Prime's TV shows or whatever that they
Yeah,
had?
yeah, I
Did you
heard
hear
about that.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
I know. Like, what is Microsoft doing, man?
I know. The Halo TV show I heard was pretty bad though.
It was awful. It was horrible. You could swap out that art style with. You could swap it out with anything else and it would still be the same.
Yeah.
I love this.
This is cool.
It is cool. Is this an Xbox exclusive?
I doubt it.
or is it gonna come out on the PS5? Like it'll
It'll
ship
come out on
first on
PC immediately, but
it'll launch on Xbox and PC. Oh,
oh,
and
PS5.
PS5.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, that answers that then.
yeah. Steam, Game Pass. Oh, it's a Game Pass game.
Good job,
Interesting.
Microsoft.
Yeah, cool. Um,
That's pretty cool.
so they did a developer direct thing and they showed off a bunch of games. This was the only one that really was kind of cool to me, but uh,
My
yeah,
only
they have like
concern with this.
say again.
Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
They had like context based mechanics, so like you press the same button and it would do different things depending on the context, which is really cool. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, that's actually, yeah, because I've had those instances where I'm in a situation and I press a certain button and it does like a different action than what I intended it to, than what I wanted it to do initially. I've had those situations in a lot of video games.
Yeah,
Like for Halo comes to my mind because Halo now at this point has sprint in the game, and at this rate it's going to always have sprint. But sprinting in Call of Duty is the left stick. Halo is now the left stick. When I played classic Halo and Halo 2, the left stick was crouch. Like pressing down on the left stick was crouch on Halo 2. And all the other Halo titles previously. So I don't know if there's like a situation where it's hard to describe. I guess you would just have to wait and see.
yeah. I think it's like depending on your distance from enemies, it'll do a different like melee attack,
I
and
suppose I guess that sounds about right.
yeah, and there's like a variety of blocking type deals, and you can throw the shield, and
You know what would have been really cool, Logan, was to see Nintendo Switch 2 on there.
yeah,
That would have been cool.
I almost think they'll port it over.
Oh, they're gonna 100%. They're gonna port it to the
Yeah,
Switch 2. They definitely will. And that's another thing too. I hope those games, Doom and Doom Eternal, I hope they get upscaled at
yeah,
60 FPS for the Switch 2. Because those games were already ported to the Switch, and I forgot
right.
what the it was Panic Button. They're a really good studio when it comes to porting AAA titles to the Switch.
Well, I almost think that Microsoft is going to treat the Switch 2 as a trial run for the Xbox gaming handheld.
Well, they did plan on, during the Microsoft and Activision acquisition deal, they worked out a 10-year deal with Nintendo to bring a lot of their games to the Switch. They want to
Yeah.
put Call of Duty on the Switch. That's another thing.
Yeah.
They want to put Call
They'll
of
just
Duty
put it
on
on the
Nintendo
Switch too.
native, hopefully. I
Yeah.
really hope it's native, not this streaming stuff. I don't like it. I do not like it when they do the streaming stuff because you feel this input latency and
Yeah.
it's
Their
horrible.
their systems are just not
It's
there
not
yet.
it's not good. I don't like it. I do not like the cloud gaming. I'll just say it. I don't like it. It's terrible. It's awful. Horrible. Worse than the last administrations.
Oh yeah. Well, that kind of leads us into the next thing. I think this is cool, and I'm excited for the Switch 2, and I'm excited to see if Microsoft actually
Would you
treats.
play this?
Would I play this?
Yeah.
I've never played a Doom game before.
Oh, you have to be on crack in order to play Doom.
Yeah.
It pays homage to the originals, I will say. In terms of the philosophy and the movement, you always, to give you an idea, you need to always be moving in these games. You have to. If you stand still, you are asking to die.
Yeah.
For Doom 2016, I will say Doom 2016, it was basically lightning captured in a bottle because it was the original id Software that worked on Doom all those years ago back in 1995. I don't remember what year the original came out.
Your brother would know.
He would know. But that was lightning captured in a bottle.
Yeah.
The only glaring issue that I had with Doom 2016 was the repetitive gameplay. And I finished that game, loved it to death. I played Doom Eternal, and the only issue that I've had with that game was you run out of ammo so quickly. It
I just remembered something.
Yeah. You get the grappling hook and everything in Doom Eternal as well, which is really cool.
Yeah. So I watched the developer direct, and they said that this one is going to be more of a stand and fight instead of movement based like Doom Eternal. So that's why they gave you the shield and everything. But the thing I remembered while you're talking about that was they're gonna give you a giant mech. You're gonna be able to and it's like this is like I don't know. It's like Empire State Building levels of giant mech. Um, May 15th too, by the way. Um, and also I think they said they're gonna give you a dragon as well. So they are definitely doing a lot of things to make this gameplay a little bit more varied, I think, which is good.
The Dark Ages is a prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. It's a prequel?
Oh.
So it takes place before you wake up in Doom 2016 in that I forgot what room it was called. So before you're on Mars?
Third
Because
installment.
Doom Eternal was Earth. That's Doom Eternal was hell on Earth. Doom 2016 was a Mars invasion.
Says dark and sinister medieval war. Interesting. Huh.
Hugo Martin, I think he's one of the game directors for this. He was the game director for Doom Eternal and Doom 2016.
Yeah.
It, his smile was, oh my gosh, it was so funny during, what was it? I forgot. It was E3 2019 or something, I think. It was so funny.
He's gonna look it up. Here we go. Hugo Martin smiling.
It was at the Bethesda conference.
Oh,
Hugo Martin.
that's funny. Well, thank you. Uh, do you want to talk about politics? How far are we into this? Oh my gosh! Are we just gonna have to do a whole political one next time?
How long are we into this one? An hour 30?
Yeah. It's gonna be another hour if we talk about
Yeah,
politics.
I mean, we can wait on this.
Okay, we'll do that.
If you, yeah, let's do that then.
Come back
Stay
next
tuned.
week. Stay tuned. We're gonna talk about politics next week.
That'll
Also,
probably be the first thing we'll talk about.
yeah, if you don't like politics, don't come back. Um, well, that was fun. The moral
Yeah.
of the story is we're not going to buy a Switch 2 right
Don't
away,
do
but we're
drugs.
excited.
Oh, okay. We're on a different plan. We're on a different. Okay.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. I said don't do drugs.
Oh, the moral of the story is don't do drugs. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, this is
That's about
Logan,
it. Yeah.
and
This is Nelson.
thanks for watching. We'll see you in politics next week.